to the Oshkosh Area School District's Board of Education regular meeting for Wednesday, April 29th, 2015. Has this meeting been properly noticed, Mrs. Cohn? Please call the roll.
Dito?
Here.
Eliason? Evans?
Here.
Garner?
Here.
Herzog?
Here.
Lemberger?
Here.
Olmsted?
Here.
We have a quorum.
At this time, we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance from Carl Traeger Elementary School students Meredith Weston and Tristan Johank. You guys would come forward.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got a couple of certificates here for you guys. Thank you very much. You guys can hang out if you wish, but you can also leave. It's kind of tedious. At this time, it looks like we'll be dealing with board and administrative reports. Superintendent Mack, you want to?
Sure. We'll be set to go. With all the activities that are occurring at this time of the year, we received word that superintendent's good news has been too much good news too long, and so Sherry took it on upon herself to do a Reader's Digest version for each of these so that we can be a little bit more efficient. So I will not be reading the script as it's exactly placed on the screen, but it's always available and posted online afterwards. First of all, congratulations to Mrs. Schmidt, Carl Traeger Elementary music teacher. Mrs. Schmidt was recently honored at a banquet for being one of the recipients of the 2015 Herb Kohl Fellowship Awards as given to teachers who inspire love for learning and motivate students. This includes a $3,000 grant for the teacher and the school. Next, the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh hosted a Tech Savvy conference on April 18th. The program is sponsored by the American Association of University Women in an effort to encourage middle school girls to explore careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. The program also educates parents on ways to prepare and encourage their daughters to pursue STEM. Pictured here are students who have participated, as well as as our school board member, Allison Garner, and science teacher, Deb Hilscher. Pictured here are some of the South Park events held on April 18th to celebrate Earth Day. South Park students and staff participated in annual park cleanup with the Downtown Rotary, and the PTN held a junk metal collection that is still in effect till May 23rd. So if you still have junk to drop off, if you're interested in dropping off junk metal, they're being collected at Fox Valley Iron and Metal on Wetzel Street. Proceeds will go to the water bottle fillers at South Park Middle School. On Sunday, April 18th, students from Oshkosh North competed against 3 other teams to design a new recipe that will be on the students' menu for the 2015-16 school year. Students participated here worked with Fratello chef Scott to create a recipe for walking tacos. Family night at Webster Elementary. Webster Elementary families participated in 2 family events during the month of March. The first was a family science night and provided families with the opportunity to compete against each other to take towers out of, build towers out of spaghetti, marshmallows, and index cards. The second family night was focused on technologies. Families explored virtual forest tour that included sights and sounds, that included math, on games on iPads, online books, and other activities. A big congratulations to Wave Robotics, who placed second in the world this past weekend at the competition held at the home of the St. Louis Rams, St. Louis, Missouri. Originally a field of 2,900 teams, had competed. The top 600 advanced to this 3-day competition. Wave Robotics achieved the highest score in the world in the semifinals and the Excellence in Engineering Award, which is considered to be the top robot design award. This is the farthest any Wisconsin team has ever been, and only the second time a Wisconsin team made it to the divisional rounds, and the first Wisconsin team to win Excellence in Engineering. What great accomplishments, and congratulations. And if you wanted to see Joy, 5:30, 5:45 on Sunday, the arrival of the team was just a joy for the students, but a lot of very proud parents as well. Congratulations to the Oshkosh West High School students for their outstanding performance at the state FBLA for advancing to the national FBLA competition, which will be occurring in June. Congratulations to the students listed here for being able to represent the Oshkosh Area School District in College Park, Maryland for the National History Day competition, June 12th through the 19th. We wish them the very best. Thanks to Kimberly Clark, Wellness Manager, and her interns, as well as Winnebago County Health Department Rethink nurses, and the Oshkosh Early Learning Groups celebrated a Wake Up and Yoga event on March 28th, which allowed teams to learn more about nutrition, eating, and exercise. Students and families also celebrated the Week of the Young Child at all sites during the week of April 12th through the 18th. The purpose of this nationally recognized annual celebration is to provide a focus on the needs of young children and their families, and to provide awareness of the programs available to meet those needs. Once again, we celebrate the Lakeside Elementary construction update is moving around rapidly. We've included some photos recently taken, and every day is a change as we see progress being made. In fact, I think the walls are far taller today than they were when this photo was taken. So progress continued to be made on getting that school ready. As I remind the contractors, the third week in August is important. Congratulations on students listed here who are receiving the national ranks in their participation on Online Math League competition, which consists of a series of 3 exams students take throughout the year. Leadership Oshkosh. I recently had the opportunity to speak at the graduation celebration for students involved in the 2015 Youth Leadership Oshkosh program. 8 students from our district are provided an opportunity to participate through the Oshkosh Chamber of Commerce and that are involved. Actually, I believe we have 2 groups of 8, 1 from each high school. The students spend several days of the school year visiting and gaining knowledge about Oshkosh community, which will hopefully lead them to adult years realizing the importance of community service as a ways of giving back to the community in which they live. Congratulations to all of these students for that participation. Merrill Middle School students had the opportunity to participate by a BMX stunt bicyclist from Minnesota. His message to students included being safe, wearing a helmet, biking is good in the environment, and never give up. Merrill families also had the opportunity to experience STEM Family Night thanks to the participation in hand-on activities, including human-size bubble maker, thanks to all who made that event successful at Merrill. Oshkosh West Band performed at Disney. 144 Oshkosh West students traveled to Orlando, Florida over spring break to perform at a parade at Disney's Magic Kingdom. While in Florida, the group also visited many of the tourist attractions, including Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Cocoa Beach, and Hollywood and Universal Studios. Students also had the opportunity to participate in a workshop with a Disney musician, a recording studio, where they learned how professional musicians record movie soundtracks. Oshkosh North Band and Choir traveled to New York to perform at the Madison Avenue Atrium. While there, they also attended a couple of Broadway musicals. And congratulations to the Oshkosh Area School District 21st Century Community Learning, which took second place in their parent university proposal in creating stronger communities contest. In an effort to strengthen the outreach efforts. The 21st Century CLC programs will be collaborating to offer the first annual half-day Parents University at Oshkosh North High School in the fall of 2015-16. The workshop will focus on enhancing family connections, self-improvement, and networking. They will also offer a resource fair in an effort to introduce parents and many resources available to help and ensure families and students' needs are being met. And My Triumph, MTT Wisconsin, is a nonprofit organization with a mission to enrich the health and well-being of individuals with disabilities by fostering lasting, authentic relationships through teamwork environment of endurance athletics. The people they help people with disabilities to participate with able-bodied athletes endurance events. This past weekend, OSD students and staff participated in the Oshkosh 5K, half and full marathon races with MTT. OSD staff and students selflessly helped to set up equipment, help with the transfer captains to and from the chairs, pushed through the race, cheered on the participants, and kept everyone comfortable. The students and staff are extremely genuine individuals who are dedicated in supporting an inclusive community. They sacrificed running for themselves and made the race all about the captains. It was not about running for PR. It was about helping the individual triumph and finish a race with pride and accomplishment. Thanks for the help in the breakdown with boundaries to provide a more inclusive Oshkosh. You truly make a difference to many. So what a wonderful activity this past weekend. Lastly, you will see a list of activities, including the last one I just got back from it this afternoon, the SkillsUSA competition in Madison, where we have some 42 students, middle school and high school students, participating in a fabulous set of activities. Some 1,400 students, I believe, from across Wisconsin are participating. We have the largest number of middle school students of any of the school districts participating, and it really is a wonderful beginning to build and exhibit the STEM activities taking place in the district. And virtually every one of those activities are a STEM activity. I ran into a young man who they expect to win the 14-year-old representing Oshkosh to win the speech competition once again, and I listened to him engage with adults in a way that we will have a future senator with this young man who's just an outstanding speaker and has the social and engagement skills second to none. So we're looking forward to learning more about that student. So very full week, 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Beck. Other reports, the committee chairs, anybody have anything? Allison?
Facilities and Finance met on April 16th. We started with the budget variance report. At this point, we are under budget. Some of that will be carryover. We'll know more in the coming months. Update on Oaklawn spending. There's still about $90,000 left. Jim Fox is dealing still with the storage shed. He did get the bid back, and it was higher than we had expected. It's almost $70,000. We also have another $5,000 that we wanted to allocate for an EVD room. So one option is that maybe Stan Mack would go to the city on the potential dealing with the Keenest property, which may be coming available, and that would be beneficial to both the district and the city. If it did become available, we could decrease the cost of the storage shed by about 2/3. So we're going to hold off and see what happens there. Last thing in Oaklawn is maybe $2,000 for slots for the fencing. That will have to wait till spring to install those. Then we discussed the student fee structure. Dave Gunlock and Tim Dawlish reviewed the current structure and then proposed a revised structure. The new system being proposed is that all the fees would come to central office rather than being collected at each of the schools to make it more equitable. And then they would be appropriated to each of the sites from here. The instructional fee now includes lots of things that were previously listed separately. So there will be an increase, but it's only because now we're not paying for all these things separately. The fees for students who are eligible for free and reduced are waived those instructional fees will be waived still, just like before. And then the committee was asked whether or not we favored capping those fees. There's districts that do it, there's districts that don't. We did show that we had an interest in capping the instructional material fees at $150 per family. Let's see. There was a question on yearbooks, graduation caps. We're still working on subcommittees and some of the other supply list stuff, so that'll be coming forward soon. And then we also talked about raising the athletic fee. The student fee structure is going to come back in a workshop in May with the full board, so we can address a lot of those as a full board. And then, let's see, yep, the CLC grant and Fund 80. Julie Mosier put together a district-wide CLC steering committee to come up with how the district can organize for consistency across elementary and secondary schools, as well as work with the after-school programs from the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club. We have difficulty in staffing because we're competing for the same staff members for our programs as well as theirs. So to solve these problems, there's been a reorganization. Julie shared elementary and secondary organization charts. Homeschooled and parochial students can participate, so we can run all this through the Oshkosh Rec Department. So it'll be a community-wide effort. Let's see, there's a need for a director. Yep, we'll have a CLC director to oversee the management of the grant and the grant money. And then we'll have directors in the elementary and secondary sites. We're looking at servicing over 800 students with these extended day programs. The site coordinator, each site will have a site coordinator, and that person will oversee classroom leads and support staff. The elementary ratio will be about 1 to 12, and so we could service about 100 students at each elementary site. Every student would have an opportunity Monday through Thursday to work with a certified teacher on enrichment or remediation on math and literacy in a fun way. At the sites using the Boys and Girls Club for aftercare, the students would instead attend CLC Extended Learning Day, and the district would contract with the Boys and Girls Club for their services, which is where that partnership would come in. This would help the district not have to compete for staff and also boost enrollment in these CLCs, which we're seeing a lot of positive data from. This would be the structure next year for each of these sites. The secondary sites currently include Merrill and North, with the possibility of adding Tipler if the grant goes through. The secondary level will be more about having labs available in areas where students can go to get support. A number of ELL students are accessing that resource as well. Middle school ratio is 1 to 17, and high school is 1 to 20. Let's see. Oh, the secondary will run both in the morning and in the afternoon. CLC Steering Committee did several site visits, including Menasha, Fond du Lac, and Green Bay. Green Bay and Fond du Lac have a Boys and Girls Club partnership similar to what we're proposing here, with the same funding pieces. The estimated cost per student would be about $1,200 and $580 for secondary students. This would be for 179 days of operation, same as the school year. There would be an annual enrollment fee of $125, which still stuns me that we can do all of that for $125 for the entire year. Let's see, which is substantially lower than what parents are currently charged for. Operating income is $605,000, and operating expenses is $870,000. So we're looking at a shortfall of about $265,000. So we're looking at levying that through Fund 80. So that's why they came to Facilities and Finance. They also came to the Education Committee. Our committee has pushed that through and said that we would recommend this proposal. Let's see, okay, 2 more. Lakeside project update. Well, I think we know everything at this point. Obviously, we know who the low bid is, Capel and Dietrich. Based on the current project, there was $40,000 for soil issues that didn't have to be used. So now we have $40,000 to use for other alternatives, which might include lockers, carpeting of the band room, and renovation of the existing floors. If these exceed the savings, there are also contingency dollars in place. And lastly, Webster Stanley Auditorium update. The project is beginning and everything's coming together. The timeline looks good, and the renovation will start on June 11 with completion the first week of August.
Thank you, Allison. Are there any more committee reports? Dr. Herzog?
Excuse me, I have a report on policy and governance. Their most recent meeting was Tuesday, April 21st. Excuse me. One of the agenda items we discussed was policy 7250, dealing with memorials and commemoration of school facilities. This Neola policy had been previously reviewed by Policy and Governance in December, along with other controversial policies, but additional changes had been made in the last meeting of the Neola group to address concerns. Matt Kammerer told the committee that the topic of memorialization was brought forward on behalf of school counselors. One specific event of concern is graduation. The group has set parameters that if a deceased student met eligibility requirements for graduation prior to his or her death, the parents could choose whether or not to have the child's name announced at graduation, and someone could receive a diploma on behalf of the student. If the child had not met the graduation requirements prior to his or her death, he or she would not be recognized at graduation. Excuse me, and no diploma would be awarded. We also discussed memorialization of individuals by planting trees or some other living memorial. If there were a marker that accompanied the item and were something that did not require maintenance, it would be allowed. If it did require maintenance, then it would not. And proposals could be approved by the superintendent, and the policy itself could be overridden by a 2/3 vote of the board. Items currently existing throughout the district that memorialize individuals would be grandparented in for the purposes of this policy. We also discussed policy 223.31, retirement for administrators and administrative staff, both the policy and the rule. Executive Director of Human Resources, Mike Nault, had informed the committee that the definition of retirement for the handbook had been voted on and approved by the full board in July of 2014. Thank you. The proposed change made to the policy is being done in an effort to update those documents to reflect the changes already in the handbook. New language includes the definition of retirement, which is now defined as the separation from employment of the employee when the employee will be receiving Wisconsin Retirement System or WRS benefits. New language also included the tier options, which were presented and approved in both June and July of 2014. The district is moving from a defined benefit, which is not sustainable going forward due to the ever-increasing costs of health insurance, to a defined contribution, which is more affordable and sustainable because of the defined cost of the benefit. I believe we also discussed the fact that these changes would actually save the district money over time and would give more flexibility to the employee who is retiring in terms of selection of health benefits. And there is not a subsequent meeting set up, but I'm sure there will be fairly soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other reports? Hearing none, non-agenda related public forum. Does anybody want to speak on something not on tonight's agenda? I do not see anybody coming forward. Agenda related public forum. Does anyone want to speak on an item that is currently on our agenda for the evening? Seeing no one, consent resolution agenda. For the consent agenda, the board has been furnished with background material on each item, or it has discussed it at a previous meeting. These will be acted upon with one vote without discussion. If a board member wants to discuss any items, it will be pulled out of the consent agenda and will be voted on separately. Is there anybody who want to pull anything out of a consent agenda? I guess I would like to pull number 9. Is there anybody else who wants to pull anything? Nope. Then the board will consider approval of minutes of March 25th, 2015 regular board meeting. Number 2, minutes of April 1st, 2015 special board meeting, quarterly update meeting. Number 3, minutes of the April 15th, 2015 regular board meeting. Number 4, bills payable. Number 5, personnel, appointment, resignations, retirements, and salary schedule. Number 6, extended year staffing for the current school year. Number 7, board meeting dates for 2015-2016. Number 8, professional staff layoff list for 2015-2016. Number 10, updates to policy 223.31, retirement for administrators and administrative staff. Number 11, updates to rule 223.31, retirement for administrators and administrative staff. Number 12, adoption of Canvas as OASD's learning management system. Number 13, Valley Area Reading Recovery Consortium. Number 14, summer school staffing. Number 15, extended school year program staffing. We need a motion at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Can you call the rolls, please?
Dito?
Aye.
Dito, aye. Eliason?
Aye.
Eliason, aye. Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Garner?
Aye.
Garner, aye. Herzog?
Aye.
Herzog, aye. Limburger?
Aye.
Limburger, aye. Olmsted?
Aye.
Olmsted, aye. Motion carried.
Number 9, be it resolved that the Oshkosh Area School District Board of Education approve the 10-year capital improvement plan as filed with the Secretary of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
I asked to have this pulled essentially just so the community is aware of what we're doing in regards to this. It is historically very rare that a board will vote on a 10-year capital improvement plan. In fact, it's very rare that a municipal form of government will have anything over 5 years in regards to capital improvement. What this allows us to do is to create a Fund 46, which will help long-term sustainable approaches toward our facility maintenance thing. I think this is an outstanding, prudent movement by this by administration and this current board to make sure that our facilities are kept in good repair through the foreseeable future. That is all I really want to say about it. Is when you see 20 things on a piece of paper, sometimes it's important to pull out some of the caveats in there so that the community understands what's going on here with us. Any other discussion on this? Hearing none, Mrs. Collins, if you would, please.
Eliason?
Aye.
Eliason, aye. Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Garner?
Aye.
Garner, aye. Herzog?
Aye.
Herzog, aye. Limburger?
Aye.
Limburger, aye. Olmsted?
Aye.
Olmsted, aye. Dito?
Aye.
Dito, aye. Motion carried.
Resolution 16. Be it resolved that Matthew Wiedenoff be commended for his contribution to the Oshkosh Area School District as a member of the Board of Education. Matthew Wiedenoff has been a board member for 6 years, serving as board president for the past 2 years, board vice president, chair and member of the Facilities and Finance Committee, a member of the Energy Management Committee, an advisory committee member to Partners in Education and the Standards and Assessment Committee, a representative delegate to the TIF districts in the city of Oshkosh, and as board representative for the OPEA, IATSE, and OEA negotiation teams. He has given generously of his time and effort not only in promoting education in the Oshkosh Area School District, but also in serving as a board member who was a consistently candid fiscal conservative. He has been a source of inspiration to the board and a guiding hand in making decisions and establishing policies. Matt would be described as serious, intense, diligent, and focused. Matt's professional expertise as an architect drew him naturally to be attentive to the detail of school district finances, curricular content, instructional delivery systems, new construction and renovation projects, and most certainly contracts for services with architectural firms. Matt is a strong advocate for creating opportunity for every student to grow academically through self-paced, individualized education. Matt strongly supported the Oshkosh Area School District's technology initiative as one of the means to achieve self-paced, individualized education. Under Matt's strong leadership as a board member, the school district restored its trust within the community by careful reinvestment in its facilities through renovation and new construction. The 10-year capital improvement plan, which is on the agenda to be approved by the Board of Education this evening, is part of Matt's legacy and a result of his strong advocacy. It has always been clear that Matt cares deeply about the school district and feels that the board's most important responsibility is to provide the best possible educational opportunities for each and every student attending the Oshkosh Area School District. We appreciate Matt's sincerity, authenticity, and caring attitude during his service on the Oshkosh Area School District Board of Education. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Matthew Wiedenoff and with the thanks and best wishes of his colleagues of the board. Resolved this 29th day of April 2015. At this time, a motion for this resolution would be...
So moved.
Any discussion?
Second.
I I would like to say that I am going to miss Matthew Wiedenoff. I think 5 years ago, when I first sat down on the board, I think we both looked at each other with a little bit of suspicion. During the last 5 years, I can say that Matt has helped me very much with my role on the board, and I am proud to say that he is a friend of mine. Anyone else have anything?
Sure. Thanks. Is that okay? Well, you know, when you first got elected to the board, I thought to myself, how the heck did someone like that get elected to the board? It's only been in Oshkosh a short time, but I sure am glad you got elected, and I think you are the right person in the right place for a lot of reasons. So I just want to thank you for your service to the community.
I'd like to say something. I know Matt and I fought for a lot of the same things. I've always appreciated your candor, and I've always appreciated how hard you fought for things that you believed in. I've learned a lot from you. I'm going to miss you. Thanks.
Your professionalism and your integrity have really been helpful to me as a new board member, and so I thank you for that.
Well, I want to say that I enjoyed serving you too. But seriously, like John, when I first heard that you were going to run, I thought, well, this guy's either really naive or he's going to be really something special. And watching and hearing what you did on this board, you certainly turned out to be something really special.
At this time,
I think Steve still wants to speak.
I would just add a little to that, Steve.
Yeah, please
Thank
do.
you. And Matt, I would just say, well, I can hardly add to what's been said, simply that you've been just really wise, really thoughtful, really a calm, moderating force, but with a tenacity kind of all your own. So you're much appreciated and will be much missed.
Well, as a final gesture, at the quarterly meeting that we had,
Good man.
I spoke up and said, well, if we all really want to do this, and it was in regard to the yard signs that we were speaking of, all it would really take is one paycheck from each of us from this board to make it happen. So being a man of my word, I'd like to present the Oshkosh Area School District a check for $200 for my share of the yard signs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. I guess at this time, if there's no further discussion, we need to have a vote on the resolution.
Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Garner?
Aye.
Garner, aye. Herzog?
Aye.
Herzog, aye. Lemberger?
Aye.
Lemberger, aye. Olmsted?
Aye.
Olmsted, aye. Dito?
Aye.
Dito, aye. Eliason?
Aye.
Eliason, aye. Motion carried.
And Matthew, we have a plaque here as well. Thank you for your service, sir.
My daughter was crushed, but she came home with her certificate, and she said, "It doesn't even have your name on it."
Mr. President, may I just add a few words of thanks. It's always very hard to lose a board member who I've been working with since the very beginning on coming to the district, and I always appreciate the expressions of my words are kind of well stated in the last 5 paragraphs of the resolution. My thoughts as I reflected on Matt's leadership are all of those things that so delight administrative team and especially the superintendent, because having someone with those strong leadership and skills are always so appreciated. And Matt, you simply provided for me a very solid foundation in the past 3 years. So thank you so very much.
Hasn't always been fun, but it's always been a privilege.
Yes. Thank you.
We will miss you, Matthew. At this time, requests for future agenda items. Does anybody have anything that they would like to see brought before this august board?
Mr. President, I do. And I actually have 3 quick bullet points that I had considered sending through the central office via email. But as we convene with a new board, it feels like there might be an opportunity to have even a deeper I mean, I feel like we've worked fantastically well over the years together as a board, with the administrative team, as a district. So I seek only to add on to that if there is the will or people are of the mind that it will be helpful. I think of the very point that Mr. Wiedenhoff brought up about let's all pitch in a bit to do a good little work here. And I think of an NPR piece I heard a few years ago where a school board did that very thing. They had at every meeting or every other meeting these micro grants. So the board members would cough up whatever it was, $20, and any student or a staff member could come before the board if they needed, I don't know, $100 or $200 or $300 or $400 and say, "I've got this little project." And a few people could present, and you have this sort of lightning round of deliberation, and you come up with a verdict in 4 minutes, and we could award, say, $160. So I really like that idea, and I've thought about it for years. I thought, well, maybe I'd bring that up here for a future agenda item discussion. So that's one. Another one is, I remember a few years ago when we had a few staff members meeting with us at a special board meeting, and of course I found that very helpful. I don't know if anybody else did, but I keep thinking it would be wonderful, maybe on a regular basis, to hear from some of our staff members if we feel like this might be an appropriate or helpful forum, and it may not be. But just to sort of hear the word on the street, in the schools, in the classroom, and kind of get the vibe. As I say, I'm not sure that's an effective way, but I'd like to try it. So I just like to throw that out. And like I say, we could have done this by email, but I feel like it's maybe a little better just to air it. The third thing would be, I'd like to see if there's a way that we as board members, as administrators, I don't know how broad-ranging to go, but if we could, at some point, maybe our next board meeting, have a 60-second micro, this I believe statement. I'd love to hear where, for example, Kelly comes from in life, or Stan comes from, I know Stan somewhat, but I wonder if you think there'd be merit in just having a little bit from our administrative staff, like, here's how I got where I am, here's what I believe, here's why I vote like I do, here's why I advocate like I do. Again, if you think there's merit, I think of the NPR StoryCorps project, where these radio interviews are aired from around the country, and I find them really insightful. So just those 3 bullet points, we could put on the agenda or not, but I just wanted to sort of share those ideas. Thank you.
One of the things that's going to be on a future meeting agenda, in fact, I think it'll be on the 13th, actually, will be our board self-evaluation. Perhaps at that time we can talk about some of the, like the micro grant concept, and perhaps the 60-second, like you're saying, about this is why I do what I do type of thing, where I come from. That might be an appropriate place during that time.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have a future agenda? John?
I'm not sure if this is something we want to have on an agenda, but I'll let you and the superintendent figure it out. I'm hearing pushback about our late start dates, the high schools, and I know you presented to us information about how it's impacting grade point averages and stuff like that, but I'm hearing anecdotal stories about students that have had some severe grade drops when their sports started because they missed so much class time. And we're also hearing from teachers that it's quite a bit of extra work to help students that have to leave early for these late day events. So I'm not sure how you want to tackle that, but I think we need to do some listening.
We certainly did. And we had 45 people talk to us and 4 meetings. We'll be coming back to you with a plan that the high school principals are working on, in the scheduling of 0-hour alternatives for students. And I can tell you at this time, for the 2015-16 school year, we cannot change that.
That's what I kind of
right.
thought.
Yes. That would not. But we did work through a process, and we had a rather limited discussion on that, and the trade-off costs were ones that most individuals, even those who came to the meetings, understood was that But our high school principals have been working on the process for creating and identifying students with that are athletes that in creating a series of 0-hour classes, which actually we anticipate that that we'll probably have more staff volunteering to teach a 0 hour, and we simply adjust their day to accomplish that. So, but I think we have responded to it, and we'll go back and we'll present to the board what's coming up on that issue.
Enough.
Any other future, requests for future agenda items? Hearing none, any announcements? Hearing none, at this time, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
No discussion is necessary. Would you please call the roll, Mrs. Conklin?
Aye.
Turner, aye. Herzog.
Aye.
Herzog, aye. Lundberger.
Aye.
Lundberger, aye. Olmstead.
Aye.
Olmstead, aye. Vito.
Aye.
Vito, aye. Eliason.
Aye.
Eliason, aye. Evans.
Aye.
Evans, aye. Motion carried.
Meeting adjourned.